Team Rocket were the first evil team ever introduced into the Pokemon franchise, and they are the most iconic and most well-known out of all of the evil teams that we have so far. They are the only evil team that spans across multiple regions in the main series Pokemon games, and appear in many of the spin-off Pokemon games even. Today we're going to look at some of the weird facts about Team Rocket, some of which you probably didn't even know about, and we're going to be mostly focusing on the games this time and not the anime. Before we get too far into the video, I just want to mention that the majority of people who watch my videos aren't even subscribed, so please consider subscribing if you haven't already, and also consider clicking that like button as one like goes a long way and really helps grow the channel. And now on to the video. Did you know that in Pokemon Yellow, Giovanni is the only gym leader who uses Pokemon that aren't of his gym's special type, being ground type? He has a Persian, which is also the Pokemon he is most known for, despite it being a normal type. Every other gym leader's ace Pokemon happens to be of the same type that they are, such as Erica having a Vileplume being grass type for the grass type gym. Unlike most other evil teams in Pokemon, which have a very specific goal like flooding the entire world or liberating all Pokemon, Team Rocket is more like a criminal organization that you would see in the real world like the Yakuza, and don't exactly have one clear motive, they just use Pokemon as tools to get whatever they want. Team Rocket are even one of the few evil teams in Pokemon to actually cause death in the main series games, and are responsible for killing the Marowak in the Pokemon Tower, which is why it originally appears as a ghost. They are also the only evil team to have nothing to do with the cover Pokemon on the games they appear in, being Charizard and Blastoise in Red and Blue, unlike every other evil team in Pokemon who have some sort of scheme that directly involves the cover Pokemon of those respective games. In the manga, Team Rocket is much more evil than they are in the games though. They kill more Pokemon and even have prominent trainers in the Kanto region like Sabrina and Koga as members of Team Rocket. I know I say this a lot and I have an old video about the Pokemon manga, but the original Pokemon Adventures manga is one of the best original Pokemon stories I've ever seen, and it's something I highly recommend any Pokemon fan read, especially if you're a fan of Team Rocket since they are much cooler in the manga. Now here's a fact that actually really annoyed me and was brought up by somebody named Antant on my Weird Facts video about Heart Gold and Soul Silver. They basically said that the Team Rocket admins in the original Gold and Silver games don't have names, and that there were 4 unnamed male admins in Gold and Silver, but in Heart Gold and Soul Silver, they were given names, but there are only 3 male admins that exist now. Originally in Gold and Silver, there was an imposter radio tower director who was actually one of these Team Rocket admins. In Heart Gold and Soul Silver, the imposter director is now Petrol of Team Rocket, who appears in the radio tower and the Team Rocket headquarters at the exact same time in the game. I don't really understand why they didn't just keep the cut executive and give them another name to avoid this, since now we have 2 characters that exist in the same place at the same time, which causes a lot of continuity issues. But I will have to say that the fact that the admins are unnamed in the original Gold and Silver games caused even more confusion with Team Rocket, since as a kid I originally thought there was just the one admin. The most well-known of the Rocket admins in Pokemon Heart Gold and Soul Silver is Archer, who appears in other games as well. He appears in the Let's Go games, despite not appearing in Red and Blue or in the main story of Fire Red and Leaf Green even, and is also believed to be the head Rocket admin of the Serebii Islands in Kanto, although his sprite is a generic Team Rocket sprite and he is again unnamed like he was in Gold and Silver. The reason that Archer is believed to be in the Serebii Islands is because after the events of Red and Blue where Giovanni vanishes, and in Heart Gold and Soul Silver where Archie is the interim boss while Giovanni is missing, the events of the Serebii Islands take place in between Kanto and Johto events, so it would make sense that this would be Archer's rise to be the interim boss. In English, all of the Team Rocket admins are named after some sort of rocket or missile. Their names are Archer, Ariana, Proton, and Petrol. Every evil team in Pokemon has members like this that have some sort of name influenced by the name of the evil team. Although in the case of Team Rocket, it's not as obvious and something I didn't even know before researching this video. Despite Team Rocket only being the evil team in Kanto and Johto, and a little bit of Alola sort of, Team Rocket also appears in the Unova region. It is heavily implied that a Rocket operative originally from Cerulean City in Kanto planned to bring Team Rocket to Unova, but got married instead and gave up on his plans. You can find him living in Icarus City in Unova with his family. Team Rocket is also mentioned by a Team Plasma Grunt in Unova, who says that their plans failed because they drew too much attention to themselves, which is true since they definitely liked the attention. I believe this could have influenced why Team Plasma liked to operate more in the shadows and behind the scenes, because they saw what Team Rocket did and how it didn't work out for them. Now more on Team Rocket in the Alola region. They appear in the post-game as Team Rainbow Rocket and are the only evil team to be exclusive to the post-game of any Pokemon game. Team Rainbow Rocket pulls in other evil team members as well, like Archie and Getsis. However, the only evil team to not be represented in Team Rainbow Rocket is Team Skull, who appear in the Alola region naturally anyway through Sun, Moon, Ultra Sun, and Ultra Moon. In nearly every language, Team Rocket has the variation of Rocket somewhere in their name, except for in Arabic and Icelandic. The Arabic name of Team Rocket translates directly to the White Robe Gang in English, and the Icelandic name translates to the Fire Flying Forces. I can see how the Icelandic name somehow relates to Team Rocket because fire flying and rockets make a lot of sense, sort of, but the Arabic name sounds like it would describe Team Plasma a lot better than Team Rocket, since Team Rocket doesn't exactly wear white robes. In fact, in the original Red and Blue games and Pokemon Yellow as well, their outfits are usually just black anyway. In Pokemon Stadium, there's a mode that lets you take on every single one of the Kanto gym leaders in order. As a kid, I could never get past the final gym leader, Giovanni, but his name was actually spelled wrong in this game. It's missing the second N in Giovanni, but this was because they had to cut out a letter to make it fit since his name was too long for the character string, sort of like what they did with Feraligatr by not adding the E at the end of the name because it would have been too long. In the Generation 1 Pokemon games, the Rocket Grunt sprite can be seen holding a whip. This was changed in Generation 2 onward since they are technically weapons, and of course some people somewhere got upset about that. And the only trainer to continue holding a whip since Generation 1 was the Tamer Trainer class. In the Generation 2 Pokemon games, as well as Heart Gold and Soul Silver, there isn't a single Rocket Grunt who uses a Generation 2 Pokemon on their team, although there are some higher up trainers in Team Rocket that do. In Fire Red and Leaf Green, there's also only one Rocket Grunt in the whole game that has a Pokemon that isn't from Generation 1 originally, and it's a Grunt on the Serebii Islands who has 2 level 49 Houndours. While I understand not adding new Pokemon to the Rocket Grunts in the mainland Kanto region since it is Kanto after all, a big focus of the Serebii Islands was that there are Johto Pokemon that can be found there, so it would have made a lot more sense for some of these Rocket Grunts to have at least more Johto Pokemon. In all of the Johto-based Pokemon games, you meet a girl named Maisie in Azalea Town who is Kurt's granddaughter, Kurt being the guy who makes all the Pokeballs. She mentions how her father used to work for the Sylph Co., and later he can be found in the Team Rocket headquarters in Mahogany Town, working for Team Rocket as one of their scientists. In Generations 1 and 3, you can find the Rocket brothers in the Sylph Co. They span between floors 6 through 9, with one brother on each of the 4 levels. They all mention how they are one of the 4 Rocket brothers at the start of the battle, and they all say how their brothers will avenge them after you beat them, even if you've beat every single one of them. In the Let's Go games, they were replaced to be the Rocket Sisters instead of the Rocket Brothers. And those are just some of the weird facts about Team Rocket, some of which you might not have known about before. Let me know in the comments down below what your favorite fact about Team Rocket is, and also be sure to hit that like button if you enjoyed the video, and consider subscribing if you want to see more Pokemon content like this video. Thank you all so much for watching, have a great rest of your day, I will see you all next time, and bye bye.